these idiots that do the weddings screw around.
Yeah. Geez, nothing goes quicker than money.
I'm just gonna put barbed wire in this.
Oh, wow, I got too much change. Did you know I got sick 2 weeks ago? I got food poisoning 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow, for what?
I had to go to the hospital.
Well, a lot of trouble?
Yeah,
Jeez.
I got a cheeseburger at Wendy's.
Cheeseburger place?
I got a cheeseburger at Wendy's.
Oh, yeah.
And with about,
You kidding me? They go there all the time.
not even an hour.
Which Wendy's?
The loop.
That's where I always go.
I do too. I'm so sick. I had to go by ambulance.
I go there 3 or 4 times a week, 'cause I have the app. You get good deals, you know?
It was a very hot day. I don't know what happened. They ran thousands, couple of.
You actually physically.
That was the last thing I had to eat was a cheeseburger. Within 45 minutes, I was desperately sick.
Wow. There was lettuce on it and everything too, and tomato.
Lettuce and tomato with no dressing. I don't have dressing, so I don't like that ketchup and stuff.
The one thing they do that's good at Wendy's, they
I
don't.
like their baked potatoes very much.
Yeah, they go went up a lot, but the hamburgers and that, you put tomato on it and they don't charge you above it, even if it's not on the same temperature as tomatoes. Anywhere else, McDonald's is like another 50 cents or a buck, you know?
Oh, the tomatoes are getting dear now.
Yeah.
I went to the market this morning and I didn't buy that much. I bought about 6 bags, spent $72.
Where'd you go? The Bull?
Up to Bowles, yeah. Who's that?
Vivian. You know, I go to Aldi's a bunch, I don't go there.
Nowhere?
Aldi.
Oh, yes, I do go there once in a while.
It's hit or miss, but sometimes you get
That's
egg
right.
for 99 cents and
It's
it's
a
not
hit or
like.
miss. I like Whole Foods, but they're very expensive.
No, they're high, yeah.
Their food is very expensive. So she's the only one who know. Is that Vivian?
Yep. All right.
surplus, it's not on that, yes.
Yeah.
There's really
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. So
It's behind the water department?
Yeah, right in front of the water department.
In front of the water department.
Yeah, there's another
Is
building.
that their industry?
These are pictures of it, and you know, bring it out. It should, it is pretty, should be, yeah.
Mommy, tell him what
guy.
day is my sister's birthday.
Oh, I don't know.
It's
Is
Saturday.
it this Saturday?
It is.
Are you kidding me?
Two Mondays.
Is it a July birthday?
It's in June.
June,
June
June.
29th. Yeah,
Oh my God, I hope there's cake.
there
Is
is.
it cake?
Yes.
What kind of cake, if I show up, what kind of cake would I have?
What you asking for?
Marble.
That's for the undersized.
Yeah.
You don't want vanilla, you really don't want chocolate, you want marble.
I want cake. I
Yeah,
want
that's
cake.
what she said. Okay. So,
Me chocolate, why would you do what?
like all of it chocolate?
All right, so here's the deal, let's make a pact right now. If you get chocolate you don't like, give it to me. Can we work on that together? All right. That's all I'm asking for.
She's too
Give
funny.
a bigger picture. Oh, wait a second. So, oh, it is. So, in
This
this,
corner right here.
and so where's the water department?
So the Ames is the corner up, so this is the, I think there's some property here that may be contaminated.
Okay, so this is, so where's the work? Okay, so the,
How are you guys?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good.
When is your due date?
August.
Oh, it's around the corner. You're having a boy or girl? Okay.
A little girl. I wish you meet her.
Okay. I love girls. So let's. No, because there's two. There's one over there and there's one over
I
there.
have no.
You don't know how to turn it off?
I've never dealt with it, so no. But it is.
Did you want me to turn it off? Because you're gonna be here.
I think, right now, I think it's pretty cool in here.
Oh, it's off already. That one's off.
Okay.
This one is on. You want me to leave it on?
I will shut it off right now.
Okay. Let's commence. Right? Should I do it with my hands? No, it's okay. Okay, we have Vitalina. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Got it. This is so formal. All right. We're commencing tonight's Housing Committee meeting. Today is Thursday, June 27th, 2024, and it is approximately 6:20 p.m. Note, this meeting is being conducted as a hybrid meeting. You may remotely access the meeting through the digital platforms listed below, which is the Facebook Lawrence City Council page and our YouTube Lawrence City Council page. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of Housing Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that persons who would like to listen or view this meeting while in progress may either attend in person or use any of the following access locations. Voting members that are present here today, to my left is our City Councilor of District F, Mark LaPlante, City Councilor of District A, Fidelina Santiago, and to my right is our City Council President and Councilor at Large, Giovanni Rodriguez, along with myself, your council, your Housing Chair, Vivian Marmol. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance before we commence today's meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We don't have any minutes for city council approval, so the first item in the agenda under new business is item number 29724, which is the declaration of property surplus for 389 Water Street, map 204, lot 22. And we have our asset officer, Charlene Pascual, to speak on behalf of this item.
Good afternoon, council members and Madam Chair. So this is very straightforward. Like you stated, presenting a declaration of surplus for 389 Water Street, map 204, lot 22. It is 18,800 square feet in a residential 3 neighborhood. It is a vacant lot of the city, assessed at $220,700 with a tax rate that would generate an estimated annual tax of $2,041.48. So for some time, this property hasn't been on tax rolls, and we're just trying to declare surplus and move forward with our process. We have received a few interested parties in the area. What I gathered from the administration is that we want to do youth development. I believe we declared surplus 0 Doyle Street, which is nearby this property, and we want to just redevelop, revitalize that area for youth development, and that's what we're looking to do specifically with this property. Maybe specific to basketball, volleyball, tennis, we're not too sure. It's not a huge area of land, but we do want to see some kind of activity going on there.
Okay. Are you all set?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Does anyone have any
Discussions?
questions?
No discussions? I mean,
Through you, Madam Chair. So the intent is to develop it as a potential sport facility?
What was that?
The intent is to develop it as a potential sport facility.
Sport facility, yes. Youth development, yes.
And this property is about 17 square feet, right?
18,800.
So in case that doesn't go through, what is the intent once we declare surplus as a second plan? What is the second plan for that?
For right now, we're only going to be receiving applications that are tailored to youth development basketball organizations. So we're not going to move forward with this property unless that's what the intention is behind that application. So this is not like to develop housing or anything of that nature.
And so the youth development that is intended to be there, is that something that the administration already have discussed?
We have received several agencies that have approached us, so we're going to open up the opportunity for them to put in their application and for us to discuss what organization has the best proposal, who may develop it, the best, and how we can actually create the best tax revenue, if that's the case, for this particular property. So we haven't discussed specifically who we want there, or we haven't decided, because we cannot decide until we've reviewed applications and seen everyone's application. So we will open this and make this public for everyone to, or for those organizations to approach us, or every organization to approach us with the same opportunity.
Are the organization non-profit organization or they are for-profit organization?
I have met with nonprofit organizations and also for-profit organizations that have approached me about this property. So both.
Yes, just to clarify, no, not to clarify, to bring some perspective as of what happened on that lot. Back then, when I joined the council, that was a parcel that was used by the DPW department to bring all the stones, all the trees, and everything that the city cut around, all of the leads that were picked up, and it was a huge effort from the city council, the administration to clean it.
Beautiful.
So to make it like it is right now, and to make some use for it. So essentially, declaring this property as a surplus, we need to have a solid plan of what's going to be there, so we can, our effort is worth it.
Absolutely.
Because, that was something that brings a lot of attention to people around there, a lot of disturbances, a lot of illegal dumping, and there was a lot of phone calls from city council to the administration to make sure that they clean it up and they make it up to standards. So moving forward with our property will means that, something that is valuable to the community
Absolutely.
take place up there.
Absolutely, and I think developing, towards youth and sports brings a lot of the neighborhood together, the kids a place to play. I think the closest to this area as far as parks, as close as maybe behind the Bruce School, I think there's a baseball field. There's not really much going on there, so I would love to be part of a process that would revitalize that area and bring some opportunities for the kids to play and for organizations to actually make the best use of the property. We are going to take into consideration nonprofit versus profit, making sure that, we don't make a decision based on who would create the most money for the city, but what's the best use of the property and where the best benefit is, which I will make sure that I take into consideration when reviewing the applications and bring forward to you guys at City Council.
And you also mentioned another property from around the area.
Yep,
Both of them are going to be under the same idea?
Yeah, so the same idea, not necessarily the same people are gonna manage it. We don't really know who. The other property is a property that goes over the 35,000, which you understand is an RFP process. And if you don't, we can go into it a little further. I'm willing to educate everyone on what I know about the RFP process, and I think it's important for all of us to have a good understanding of how that RFP process works. But it is over $35,000, so it's gonna go through an RFP process, a bidding process. And we're also gonna do kind of the same process, receive the applications, review the best plan, the best use, what's gonna beautify that area. I think that there's some embarkment and homelessness, things going on back there, maybe some illegal activity that we wanna get rid of. And I think it would be a great opportunity to kind of work that property and the other property in the same idea, yes.
Okay. All right. Never mind. So I want to make sure that I'm not confusing the two lots, because I'm
Yeah.
very familiar with the area.
So 389 Water, to clarify, is right next to the water department.
No, when I say I don't want to confuse it, I mean in terms of, so, you know how there's sometimes rumors as to like what could potentially is going to be in one lot. So I was primarily focused on the other lot, and I just want to make sure I'm not confusing
Yeah,
anything.
they're two separate ones, two separate processes, and
Okay.
even two different ways to go about them.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that the lot that we're speaking on, which is a 389, that if it's gonna, I think it's an amazing idea for it to be geared to a youth-related or recreational facility for the youth. I want to make sure that, so there is no RFP process for this specific lot.
Actually, let me just double check the value, because I may be also going back and forth within the two. This actually is also going to be an RFP, and I misspoke, I apologize, so I want to
okay.
correct that for the record. The assessed value is $220,000, so it is over a $35,000 piece of land, so we do have to do an RFP process with this property as well.
Okay.
Thank you for highlighting that for me.
All right, because I want to make sure that, like, my approval is with the, it's with the clause to ensure that it's included in the RFP.
Yes.
That it has to go to a
Yes.
youth-related,
So we're being very
Facility.
specific with these two properties versus maybe other things that we've done in the past or things that we're gonna do in the future. These two properties are definitely geared towards youth development, sports, recreation activities.
okay. Is there a process, well, after the council, if they decide to send this up for approval, how can we continue to engage and be on top of, as to the details and what's gonna happen with this lot?
So when we go up to council, I would be presenting to you guys the actual maybe RFP application, maybe some conditions or deed restrictions that we're going to be setting forth with this particular property or this process. We can always be open to discussion. We don't have to make decisions on the spot. We can use this as a method of, communicating. I'm not sure what we've used in the past. I'm not sure if there's a way that we can engage or meet in regards to city properties, but something that I can definitely discuss with administration.
Okay, please do so, because I'm gonna make the assumption, along with our council president, we have a specific interest considering that this is our district. To me, it's super important considering how we don't have a park. Like District D does not necessarily have a playground. They either have to go to West Street, which is technically in District C. So if there's anything in a way for me to be more involved with this process, I would love to do so,
will
as long
definitely
as
highlight.
it's okay with everyone else.
I mean, I'll definitely highlight your interest in knowing a little bit more about the project or process per se. I'm not sure if there's anything that we had in place already that obligates us to have to meet or receive any additional input, but I will definitely highlight that to the administration that you guys want to be involved in future talks about what's going to happen there. I mean, the RFP process is going out. You'll be able to, it's going to be public for everyone, and you'll be able to see things there and maybe give your input when that starts, and we can always go back and
Yeah.
forth.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that if we are submitting an RFP, that it's exactly tailored to the discussions that we're having. So if we're speaking that we want to see a future youth-related
Right.
facility, and yet, we put out an RFP and
'Cause what can also
somehow
happen, and I want to
the lot is being developed for something completely different.
Right.
That's my main concern.
And I would hope that because I've gotten people or organizations that have come to our offices asking about this particular property for youth development, let's say the RFP comes out, but we get no bites at it, right? What would happen then? So that's a question that I also am going to ask the administration. Are we going to come back to city council and rediscuss this item again, right? Or after declaration of surplus, what ends up happening? So, the hopes are, and the talk for this property is a youth development. I just don't know to what extent the law, the ordinances, and the charters keep me having to come back to city council.
Okay. Any further discussions? Oh, Counselor LaPlante?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you, of course. So traditionally, what we do is that there's a couple of step process, and the first step is that we declare something surplus. RFP should not be going out until it's declared surplus. And so
Right, we can't even
it's
talk
okay
about
it's okay to craft it, it's okay to have the drafts, it's okay to prepare, all those things are good things to do. But it's presumptuous at this point to have, and I don't think you're doing it, but it's presumptuous to send something out because the council may just not approve the declaration of surplus
Right,
potentially.
right. And then
I
at
doubt
that
that's gonna
point-
happen.
Yeah,
but-
exactly.
So that's step one, and traditionally at that point, it's the step two, which is what the chair is asking about. The chair would like to be able to have some input. It's her district, and she would like to have some input on that. What happens is that the next phase, depending on what it is, and this is a big parcel, so it would come before the council again for a disposition, right? It's a big enough number, assessed value-wise, that's going to come back, so you're going.
And that's why I assume RFP, because the 30B laws hold me subject to the RFP process.
And so it would be incumbent upon the administration, by the way, you're part of. So the administration should be working with the district councilor, because you're going to want to have the district councilors vote at the full council level to support it. And so I would think that, getting her suggestions would be incredibly
agree.
helpful and useful. Anyway,
you,
just some
Counselor.
thoughts as we, I know that there's a
Absolutely.
lot of newness for a lot of us here on
Right.
this. Council president's been on the committee for a few years. I have as well. So we kind of know the drill just a little bit. So that's how it traditionally has gone.
Right.
Thank you.
Understood.
Thank you, Counselor LaPlante. Any further discussions before we have a recommendation? Seeing none, can I get a recommendation for approval to send to full council with a favorable recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it. Thank you so much, Charlene. Are you going to be here to discuss the second item?
I don't believe I think the second item was not ready. It was my understanding that Mr. McCarthy, our land use planner, said I think the layout plans were not ready.
Okay, so are we tabling this?
So yes, let's table that item. He
Okay.
did call me on that, now that I recall.
Right, motion to table, 298-34.
Second.
Okay, motion was made to table item 29824, a second made by Counselor Santiago. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Is there nothing we're gonna untable? All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Thank you. Have a good evening, guys.
You ready? We're starting now. Yes, sir. We're gonna bang the gavel. Crank this baby up. There's a guy with civilian clothing. Everybody's got their civilian clothes on. I'm very impressed. You ready? 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 You sit wherever you want to sit. There were no rules. We're rudderless. Good evening. Ooh. Am I supposed to be on video here? What? Was this on earlier? Just want to say good evening, everybody. I'm not really starting the meeting yet. Just good evening. Oh, here we go. Bill. Come on, Bill. What are you doing to me? We're not starting yet. That was just a little meeting.
Selena's not gonna come.
Not yet, I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll leave her a vacant.
Yeah, she might have shut it off. Sorry. I'm under pressure here.
Did you have anything to drink tonight? Did you eat? There?
I had a couple of snacks, a couple of little things.
Are you guys here to talk about the, what are you guys here for? I know, what are you here for? Same thing. Same thing? Yeah. You're gonna be voting, you're gonna be talking against it, right? Are you speaking out against this proposal? Against it? No, you'd be supporting it? Yeah.
Hey, boss, good to go, thank you.
Good.
Sorry,
Can we
Rob.
start right now? Are we on live?
Yeah.
Everything that I say right now is recorded in
You're there,
perpetuity?
you're there.
And how do I know this is working? This doesn't look normal to me.
Yeah.
It-
Zoom
this-
is on there, right?
It says Zoom on there. Where do I go?
Just
Meetings?
gotta get in as the host, right? You know how to do that.
I do? No?
Put the audio in and the.
What am I doing? Talk
See,
to
on
me.
this end, I don't know what you guys usually do.
I don't do anything. It's usually, boom, it's right there. And I just, I don't do anything. Meetings?
Yeah, that's how it is.
Or do I go here? What's this? This is it right there. But this is supposed to be down there.
Yeah, as long as we see it right there, we're recording it anyway, so. It's,
Yeah, but okay. All right. Not sure I like this.
Yeah, but that's why it's Voya,
How do I make this bigger?
double click.
Double click? Wait a second. Could I have been it? Nope. What is this there?
The Zoom is on.
Oh, this is a lot of fun. All right, he says we're on. I don't really need to see it, so, okay. This time, this is not a drill. Good evening and welcome to the Ordinance Committee meeting. Today is Thursday, June 27, 2024. Let the record reflect that our voting members to my left are Councilor Federlina Santiago, and to my right is Councilor Gregory Del Rosario. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of the Ordinance Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to or view this meeting while in progress may attend in person at the location here, or use any of the following access location, which includes the Facebook Lawrence City Council page and the YouTube Lawrence City Council page. Let the record reflect that Council Vice Chair Selena Reyes is also present. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Looks like we have a very light agenda this evening. The first thing we're going to take this evening is if there's no objection because they're here, will be document number 23624, which I believe is on page 2. Yep, 23624. At your desk, you all should have this. The actual home rule petition draft. Counselor Vice Chair, do you have this? It's going to be not in there. Do we have an extra copy there, Pat? You have one? Okay. You got it. There you go. Okay. So, we do have a couple of individuals that are here who are presuming proponents and advocates for this item. Is there anyone here to do a presentation so the council can more fully understand your perspectives? Please. Thank you.
Good evening, councilors. Mike Amano, 20 Utah Street. I just want to start off by saying I am a firefighter here in the city of Lawrence, but I'm not here on behalf of the Lawrence Fire Department or on behalf of the Firefighters Union. Here to speak tonight in support of the act establishing credible service for police and firefighters. This act would essentially fill some gaps. Credible service, if you don't know what that is, firefighters and police officers are obligated to do 32 to 34 years of service, depending on when they get hired. The law and some regulations allow firefighters and police officers to buy back or purchase credible service under different circumstances. This particular home rule petition would allow some firefighters who have reserve time or on-call time, or firefighters who were laid off for a period of time, might be for a few months. Other firefighters and police officers have worked for other government entities, and others were bypassed and their hiring was delayed. In all of those four circumstances, those police and firefighters who were not contributing to the retirement system would have that opportunity to get credible service and later contribute to the retirement system. This, of course, is a big part of any city employee's life to manage their retirement. Specifically for firefighters and police officers, as you know, the city of Lawrence is a very, very busy city. The unique duties in this city that police and firefighters have cause things like stress and heart and lung disease. There's carcinogens from multiple fires. There's high levels of stress from things like crime or just responding to emergencies on a regular basis. With that being said, every employee is different. And some firefighters and police officers will work through their time till 65 years old, which is the mandatory retirement age for a firefighter, and others may get injured. There's a lot of in the line of duty injuries that these members go through, and everyone is individually. What something like this would do is allow, again, a firefighter or police officer to manage their time and balance their retirement time with their health and wellness. Now, some might choose it as an option to purchase back this time, and others may not want to purchase back the time. It's not something that affects every member. I think in the Lawrence Fire Department right now, we have about 12 members that have reserve time. I think only 2 of which would have time that wasn't already paid for. There was about 16 members who were laid off, if I have my numbers right. About 2 months to 10 months was the typical period of that layoff time. Some of which, some of those firefighters and police officers might have picked up jobs with other municipalities and stayed there, and others might have temporarily stayed there and actually contributed to retirement. So this home rule petition it's a benefit to, I think, firefighters and police officers to really manage their time and their retirement so that they can really live out their career at their peak. So if they're feeling like they can continue on and things are going well, then they can do the best job they can. If they feel like they're getting worn down and they need to retire early, it gives them that opportunity to retire maybe earlier than they would have if they didn't have the credible service and not have to suffer through something like in the line of duty injury that might incapacitate them further and might cost both them and the city dollars. I'm open to any questions. Again, I'm not an expert, not speaking on behalf of the Lawrence Fire Department or the union, but if I can contribute in any way to any questions, I'd be happy to do so. Thank you.
I've got a few. Did you want to speak, Officer Cano? You don't have to. You can if you want.
That's amazing.
I just wanted
Okay.
to address
Sure.
the committee and also the ordinance committee and just.
And I'm going to call you Mr. Cano because I think that's probably how, and so, just so, because you're not here with your uniform on.
My
you're
name
here.
is Abel
Thank you.
Abel Cano. I do work for the Lawrence Police Department,
Mhm.
but I'm not here as, in that capacity. I'm here as a contributing member, and also I wanted to just reflect on the fact that I'm in support of this act because it not only personally affects me, it's something that I think that's really important to be inclusive and allow everyone to partake. And I know that in the past, there have been individuals that have benefit from this. I, for one, know of an individual that was able to do that from the city of Quincy. He worked in my capacity at the MBTA, and he was able to get a home rule petition and then go to the state legislature and get his time back. And I think that instead of trying to allow one or two individuals to have that opportunity, I think it should be open to everyone. I think we all work very hard. I think that our abilities to be able to contribute and be able to benefit from an earlier retirement, I mean, it's a very customary thing to do in government where you can buy back your time. The more common known is the military buyback, and folks are able to buy them some military time in order to retire earlier. So I just wanted to make reference to that and also appreciate your time.
Are there any questions by members? I do have a question or two, but I'll open up to the committee first if there's any questions. You do? Go ahead, Mr. Del Rosario.
Thank you, through you, Chair. When you say, I mean, I have a little understanding of it, buyback or early retirement. If this is, say, approved, I mean, should it be a minimum age before you apply for retirement? It could be, I'm in the police force for 2 years and then I decide that I'm tired, I'm burned out, I want to retire. Can I buy all that time for my retirement? How will that work?
I think in general, there's a vesting period, and again, I'm not an expert, but I know just from being in the department, after 10 years, I believe it's a vesting period in the retirement. Most people, at least in our departments, it might be different in other cities, try to make it to the 32, 34 mark. Many get far, and they realize that time is caught up on their bodies, which is why often we don't think about these things until much later in our career. And again, you know, that would be the intent, to fill in the gap, something, whatever it may be 2 months, 2 years, where you could purchase that additional time and get out a little bit earlier, as opposed to just pushing yourself beyond the limits when you know that your time is done and you've given everything you have. This gives that little extra option, I guess, to again, manage your health.
So there was a time several years ago where an individual came who was injured in the line of duty and looked for some relief. And I heard the story, and I thought the story was credible, and it was all true. And we went ahead and we passed and we adopted some relief for an individual that went to the State House. And then the State House folks said, "Are you sure you want to do this? This is going to cost you like hundreds and thousands of dollars over the course of the individual's life." And our retirement board was screaming, like, why didn't you talk to us before you passed this thing? And I made the vow then that if something like this happened again, for due diligence sake and strictly for that, I think it's important that before I vote yes, that we do get that information. So what is the actual cost? What's the projected cost? And maybe we say that cost is worth it. And maybe we say, yeah, I know that we're going to be putting more money into somebody's retirement earlier or younger or whatever. And yeah, it's akin to the military and all the reasons that you've mentioned as to why we should support it. But I also think it's important as we start to weigh as decision makers, we decide, do we like it? There's always the pros and the cons, and we need to understand what the con is, and then we say, the con may be too much. I mean, I'm sorry, that's too much of a nest egg. But the con is, okay, yeah, well, it's still worth it. We should still pass this thing. So for me, I would like, so a couple of things. Has this been broached, and we do have the administration, and I know it's not a retirement, they don't really handle the retirement, although we contribute as a city to the retirement board. But do they have numbers? Have you talked to them, what the cost might be to us? Are there anything like that we have from Mark Ianello, for example? Is there any data or numbers that show what the cost of something like this would be? And the answer could be no, which is fine if it is.
Yeah, I have not spoken with Mark Ianello. Again, it's not here on behalf of the administration either.
I know you're not.
Make
Right,
that-
right.
I think the idea is to buy back at a rate that doesn't cost the city money.
Okay.
It's buying back at the cost of the member to give that member options. I just want to contrast this with a situation where someone might change their status to an ILD status, which would increase their retirement pension because it would jump it up to, say, 72% tax-free, whatever those terms are. Again, I'm not an expert. This is to give additional years, but doesn't change it to a, injured in the line of duty. In fact, it does the opposite. It would give the opportunity to retire before it comes to that. Now, some members might actually contribute, and I'm sure this has happened before, where they bought back veteran time or whatever the case may be, and they've stayed 32 years and never had to use that, so they've made an additional contribution. They also might have made a contribution and then got injured in the line of duty where that money that they gave meant nothing. It was just money paid in to buy back time that they never really would have needed. So it's different, I think, than maybe the situation you're speaking of, but completely fair to vet, whoever you need to vet and make sure that it makes sense to this council.
My recommendation, counselors, is I just think we should do a little bit more research, and I think we should be very focused on where that research goes. In Section 3, it talks about the Lawrence retirement system, and that's the nut of where this is. We do have a retirement system. I forget where they're located now, but I think we should be, my recommendation is that we send a copy of this home rule petition to the Lawrence Retirement Board, to their executive director, and ask them for their opinion as to what impacts will this have on our retirement in general, and what that cost would be, because that cost is going to then be potentially been paid out potentially by the city, because we're going to have to our deficit and we are behind the 8 ball in our retirement, as I understand it, and we're constantly trying to provide more and more monies into the retirement system to make ourselves whole, and we're in the deficit at this point. So there's some things at play. And I just think that before we send this up to the full council, I would like all of our 9 colleagues to be able to at least know that, and then we have a vote, right? We decide that whatever the information is. So that's my recommendation. I'm not sure if that makes any sense or if people support it or not. I'll let you decide, but that's what I would recommend that we do, and that we would send that to the retirement board and to the CAFO so we can get their input. I think the retirement board is going to be first, but might as well get them to both. And then ask them, I don't want to keep this on hold, ask them to send it to us in time for our next meeting so that we don't drag this thing out, because I know you want to get some answers. That's my thought. Anybody have any other thoughts? Or go ahead, Council Vice Chair.
I want to know if it's good for you guys to waiting for the next meeting, or see you prefer to we can send and request the information and then they send to the full council. I want to hear about that. you be good to the next meeting from ordinance, or we can send it out with the full council, and they can send the whole information through that.
I personally defer to you, councilors, just to add maybe a possible inquiry if you're inquiring with the retirement board. Instead of asking what it costs the city, I would like to know at what rate of interest or whatever that number may be, could we make this work so it costs nothing to the city?
Interesting.
Any cost for the city?
Trying to see, I mean, right now, it will be a cost for the city.
I think we don't know, I don't think we know yet, because I don't even know what the terms are for the buyback, right? For the purchase back, and then we're talking about what the potential interest is. And we don't know what those numbers are. So I think that's why we bring it, and I think, Mr. Romano, I think your thought is a good one. What is the number where the city is, so it's revenue neutral, where there's no cost? That's a great question, and I think that if we had a motion, that should be part of our motion to ask that question. So the answer to your question, it doesn't make a difference. So if it doesn't make, I think we're working in good faith. I think we would try to get it, we wouldn't want to hold it hostage here. I don't think that's the intent. I do think we should do our work here and then send it up to the council once we get the answers, rather than having all this stuff at the full council. Or else we do everything at the full council. Mr. Cano.
So I just want to make an interesting point. So when you do retire, there's no give and take with the day that, our good Lord decides to take us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say in theory that, you pay into this retirement, and you have to pay, the idea is to pay this in full, buy back your time before you can retire. So some people may have 2 years, maybe 1 year. Maybe this is too late for some folks, which is the case for a lot of folks maybe. But the idea is to be able to contribute to the time that you served in that capacity, or could buy back your time, and then be able to benefit from that aspect. And hopefully you have a long retirement. Who knows? Maybe the day you retire, you're no longer here. The date's never given, right? But the idea is to be able to understand that within the context of our work, we do contribute, and we try to give the best that we can, and we try to work at giving back to our community. And we are hoping that because of all the things that go on in our employment, in our work, in our line of work, it's reciprocated as well. So whatever you think is appropriate, we'd appreciate, so that we can at least have some idea as to how we can balance that scale, so it's not detrimental to the city, but a cost-effective measure, so that we can benefit on both ends, right? I don't think there's anything that we can do to make it 100%, but I think that buying back that time that we served in that capacity would make a difference. And also the retaining of officers, because we're at a deficit, and anything that we can do to supplement and give validity to the job and to the employment aspect of it will keep and retain officers that are leaving, to basically stop the bleed. And we're just looking for a way that we can make this more inclusive versus exclusive, because I don't think that in the past people have benefited from this. And the question wasn't so much, well, how much is it going to cost us? But thank you for the service. Thank you for being able to do what you do day in, day out, and consider that an aspect of it. Thank you.
So the council vice president is texting me. As we can all see from my computer screen here, I've got Zoom issues that I can't fix. I don't know how to get her. She really wants to be able to speak. She is the sponsor of this matter, and I told her that I don't know how to get this thing changed. So a couple of things, we can go for a brief recess and see if Bill can do some magic. But she also says this: can you let them know, the rest of us and you, that she apologizes, trying to make it in person, but anyway, she's just now able to get home. But because of the technical issues we're facing, she's not able to speak. I'm sure she wants to. So she wanted to say that. So if you want, I can try to, for 5 minutes, we can try to see. I don't want to have us go into the night here trying to fix the computer issue. We can either try to fix it in 5 minutes, or we can continue on. What are your thoughts?
We can try to fix.
Looking for a motion to recess for 5 minutes and see if we can fix it. Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We'll see if we can fix this. Thanks.
Pero eso también puede subir como community report, pending la information. Eso lo tengo, no. Tú lo puedes subir, súbelo. Community report, pending that information.
Hey, counselors, Counselor Infante is letting us know she's listening. She said just continue. So she's hearing everything she can. Okay, well, we're telling you, it's great, if it comes, if it happens, it happens, if it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll just keep going. We're just gonna keep going. It's not gonna be an easy fix, period. We're just gonna continue, period. Thank you for your patience, period. Patience. Okay, where's Greg? I'm just gonna go back and start it up. Looking for a motion to come out of recess.
So move.
Motion made by Counselor Vice Chair, seconded by Counselor Santiago. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. So Counselors, the Vice Chair has been very gracious and is allowing us to continue. I just don't know how long this is going to take, and we got to get other people to show up, and it just is, it's a little wacky. So anyway, that being said, she's able to listen, and that's a good thing. So, I'm looking for a motion. We've had some good discussions. We talked about maybe sending it to the retirement board and perhaps the capo, looking to have what rate of interest would it be for it to be revenue neutral, a lack of a better phrase. And I think we had a discussion whether we should send it up or there. These are, they're proponents, but they're not representing their departments. They said it didn't make a difference to them, which gives us, I think, some clearance to do our work here without feeling the pressure of having to do everything in front of 9 people. We can give them a recommendation from our committee. So, I'm looking for, I'll throw it out there. I can't make the motion. I'm looking for a motion that we send the home rule petition to the Lawrence Retirement Board, asking them for what's a review or help me, will you? A what? An opinion. That's a great word. An opinion on the home rule petition. And then number 1, and number 2, what is the rate of interest that it would take to make the proposal? I'm going to use the word revenue neutral. So no cost. Otherwise, no cost to the city coffers, to the city. Am I articulating it fairly well? If you got, so,
It's a motion we can send, or we need to pass the motion first and then we do another motion.
what did you have in mind of this?
So,
This is going to be, it can't be my motion, but so we want this to be your motion? You want-
no,
Okay.
I want to add.
Okay, go ahead. What do you got?
A motion to send we, committee report to the full council.
So,
Pending with documentation.
so we certainly could do that. There's no pressure from these individuals about that, so that's what we're trying to do.
It's not pressure for
Okay.
both sides, but
Okay.
we can send it out, and we have the conversation with the whole team.
Okay. So I can't make the motion?
I made the motion to send we, the full council pending, with the whole information.
So there's a motion to reiterate what I said as part of the motion, and then send this up to an opinion, number one, and number two, the second aspect of it is what numbers are required, percentage numbers are required to make so there's no cost to the city.
Okay, rate of interest and revenue neutral.
I would, yeah, is there a better way of saying that, Mr. Romano? You're the wordsmith in this group, I think.
Either a cost analysis maybe, or maybe what would be an interest rate that would be, I guess, cost neutral.
Cost neutral for the city, so there's no expenditures, no expenditure by the city. And send this up to the full council without a recommendation, is that what you're suggesting? So there's the motion.
You want this to go to the full council as well?
That's part of the motion. Is there, there's a second to the motion?
And are they supposed to come from the retirement board?
They can't, they're invited to come if they wish. We're just looking for paperwork. I suspect we can offer them the opportunity to come and answer any questions, because it gets a little, this is not something that this council is used to discussing, unlike housing or something else where we're more used to it. This is a unique situation, so we may have questions at the full council level. So we invite them. And if they don't show, that's fine, but as long as we get something written, that's helpful. Motions have been made, seconded. Any further discussion on this matter?
Discussion.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Just to add on it, I think this motion is an okay motion, or is a good motion, because we tend to hold things here long, and information sometimes tends to not come in on time. I know they're not in a rush, but I would be eager to hopefully get information soon that we can get up to date, and then they got another shot with all of us all together, 9 of us, and we're not holding anything. Maybe we get the information that you're looking for and I'm looking for, and we're able to get a big vote on it, and they can go on to the state.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. It's unanimous. So you know everything I know. So we'll see you, July 2nd is our next meeting. I don't know if we're gonna, that's in 5 days. I honestly don't think, I mean, we got holidays, we got vacation. I don't think we're gonna get a letter back in time at the full council for July 2nd, but you never know. Maybe we do. Maybe we do.
You guys do what they do to us. You guys do what they do to us. Email them, starting today.
Okay, I saw earlier, thank you guys. I saw earlier the council president was here. Is he still here this evening? Council president, can you hear me? I'm not sure if I saw him in the hall, and his item is the first item. That's right, so that's right. Full council without a recommendation and correspondence to July 2nd, next Tuesday. It sure is. We're moving things quickly. There you have it. All right, I don't know if the council president is here. That's his item. 305 Lynch Street, remove the traffic study request, modify parking or make it a one-way. I believe that's one of those things we sent to the police department. Is that what we do there, Vice Chair? Oh, he's right here? Okay. Let me see what we have here. Oh, we do have a memo. Council President, your item is first, and as we invite you and any other city councilors to come speak first, so This is the document 30524. This is Lynch Street, a traffic study request. You've placed it on the city council agenda, so you have the floor, sir.
Well, essentially, there is a configuration on that area that is a little, it's a little confusing for the people living around there. And I based on an analysis that we did back then with Cano and the police department. Essentially, that originally came from Cano, from a complaint that he get around there, Officer Cano, a complaint that he get around there. We took a look at it, and then we decided that the best way to actually change the configuration of that of those streets. Let me see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 different streets around the same area, and a very small short land. It was to change that to one way. Back then, when I submitted the first time, it went to the police department. We never get a recommendation. When all the items were withdrawn, that was one of them. I didn't look at it. And then Officer Cano was the one actually asking me again to put it back on the agenda because that was something that he got withdrawn, but we didn't have any resolution. So essentially, having that analyzed again would be beneficial. That item was originally posted on the agenda probably like 2 years ago, and nothing happened.
Thank you, Council President. So in the letter that was given to us by Officer Cano, 1, 2, 3, 4, on the 4th paragraph, this is what he suggests. He goes, I do recommend this request be forwarded for a traffic study and review by the city engineer and DPW director for their assessments and recommendations. So that was the recommendation by Officer Cano that we do our due diligence and we do that recommendation. So
is that something that's a new recommendation, or that was the one that he sent back then when I submitted originally?
no, this is the recent one because in the last paragraph says our visitor's location on March 12, 2023 and January 3rd, 2024. So this is a 2024 memo that we're receiving from him.
Yeah, that's fine. That's something that is doable if you guys send it over to the city engineer.
Okay. So there we go. So, councilors, I see that he also says on his last paragraph, I am resubmitting this request to the city engineer and DPW director. So he's already done that, but I don't think it hurts us to give the committees force and authority saying we're looking at this as well. And we also, not only do we want the police officer to look at it, we want you to look at this. So I'm looking for a motion that we send this document to the city engineer and DPW director for their assessment and recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Santiago, seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Thank you, Councilor.
The ayes have it. Council President, since you're here, is there any other matters you wish to take off the agenda?
Not at this meeting, but I promise that I'm gonna come back with a list of other things.
Thank you for your attendance here this evening, sir. Thank you. The next document is 30624. Remove handicap parking space at 32 Lawrence Street. Make a motion that we send this to the police department for their review. Motion made by Councilor Santiago. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next document is 30724, handicap parking at 177 and 179 Bailey Street. I ask that this be sent to the police department for their recommendation and review. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Six.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document 30824, Magnolia Street, one way. This is put on by Councilor Del Rosario, the mayor, and DPW Jorge Jaime. Counselor, what do you want? Police?
This should go to the police. Motion to send to the police for review.
Motion made by Councilor
Sec-
Del Rosario, seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document 30924, creation of a four-way stop at Alston Street and Dale Street. Counselor Santiago, this is yours.
Yes.
Are you requesting that we send this to the police, I presume?
The police department for favorable recommendation.
For their recommendation. Motion's been made by Counselor Santiago, seconded by Counselor Del Rosario. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 31024 Saratoga Street, one-way, and this is put on by Counselor Luzon. Same thing, looking for a motion to send this to the police department for their
So
recommendation.
moved.
Motion made by Counselor Santiago,
Second,
seconded by Counselor Del Rosario. Discussion?
discussion.
Discussion. Counselor Del Rosario.
I would assume that this is by the Portuguese Club, which is, I don't know the number there, because Saratoga Street is a one-way street going up. But I would assume it's between, I don't know the name of that street there.
It's on 2 Saratoga Street, it says.
Oh,
here.
number 2, so yeah, that's what I was assuming, that's what the Portuguese Club is. Okay. No problem.
So motion's been made, properly seconded, and there's discussion. Council Vice Chair, I'm having amnesia again. When we have one-way streets, we send them to the police department. Do we also send those to the engineer and the DPW as well for the one-way streets?
Yes, we should.
We should. So we may have to go back on the Magnolia Street one, because we didn't do that. So will you amend the motion to send this to the DPW and city engineer for their review?
Yes. So moved.
Okay, so the motion's been amended. If there's no further discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Counselors, I'd like to go back if we can, just based on the fact that 308, which is yours, 24, Magnolia Street is a one-way street. I'd like to have a motion to reconsider. Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, a motion to reconsider. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Santiago. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Looking for a new motion.
Motion to send to the police department and also the city engineer for review.
Second.
Motion has been made, this is what the motion is now, to send it to the police department and the city engineer / DPW for the 2 departments for their review. Motion been made, seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, the ayes have it. All right, thanks for correcting that. 311, okay, another one-way street. Counselor Royal Street, one-way, Counselor Del Rosario and others. Go ahead, Counselor.
Motion to send to the police department, DPW, and city engineer for review.
Second.
Motion made by Counsel Del Rosario, seconded by Counsel Vice Chair. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 31224 is handicap parking at 25 Board Street. Looking to send this to the police department for their review. Is there a
So
motion?
moved.
Motion made Counselor Santiago, seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Last one is 31324, is it Holton or Holt Street? Holton? Holton Street, one way. Council Del Rosario?
Motion to send to the police department, city engineer, and the DPW for review.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Councilors, are there any other matters before us this evening that you wish to take off the table?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Council Del Rosario to adjourn, seconded by Council Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Yours?
Yep.